Sean Sewell with Engearment.com. I got a really fun review for you on the 8 Sleep Pod 3 sleep system. This device right here and this entire mattress cover. What this is a water cooling or heating pad that goes on top of your mattress, and it helps regulate your sleep via temperature control. It's amazing stuff. We've been using sleep systems like this for 3 years. My wife and I and our dog Chloe, so we've got a lot to talk about in this review, and it's pretty awesome. So let's get into it. Like I mentioned in the intro, my wife and I have been using sleep systems for the last 3 years, and have now integrated them into our life in a big way, to the point where even if we stay in a hotel, we miss our home bed and the ability to get a really good night's sleep and have that just perfect temperature that you get with a system like this Pod 3 system. So that's saying quite a bit. I mean, I stay in some pretty nice hotels, and I enjoy camping as well. And one of the benefits of camping is usually it's cooler at night. And I've talked with many scientists on our Engearment podcast about this as well. People usually sleep better when they're cooler. So, you know, you might have your AC cranking at night and you feel like you sleep better, and it's probably accurate. Where this device comes in is that instead of cranking up the AC or opening the window in the middle of the night, you have this temperature regulating system built into the bed. So you're already in direct contact with the bed. It makes sense to have this right there to regulate the temperature. You can set the temperature to whatever you want to be, hot or cold, or a combination of hot and cold. In the app, there's a free app, and I'll show you how that works here in a moment. You can set it to, I'll give you a reference. I set mine to, I think, 74 at bed, 72 or 70 at deep sleep, and then back up to 72 or 74 middle of the night, and then a little bit higher at rest or at wake. And you can also set it to be automatic. So I have mine set to 9:30 p.m. turn on, that's our bedtime, and then 6:15 wake up. You can do this 3 different ways for the alarm. You can have it just traditional, just turn off at 6:15 or whatever time you set it to, or you can have it vibrate, which is how I do it. You can adjust the vibration levels, which is pretty impressive. And it feels like 6 or 7 cell phones in the bed just kind of vibrating. And so it's kind of like a gentle way to wake up. The other way, the third way, is you can have it go to a wake up temperature, which is really high, like 100, 110 degrees. I tried it a few days and it kind of freaked me out. So it wasn't for me, it might be for you. Of course, you can rely on your old traditional, your watch or your phone or your alarm clock to wake up. That's an option as well. The app is very intuitive. I recommend going to the app first before you set up. I set the unit up first, the pad and everything, and got to a sticking point. So I contacted customer service, and they walked me through my missteps because I didn't read the manual. The manual's pretty thin, but the app itself is very helpful, and there's great helpful videos on their website to show you how to put this on. In fact, I'll insert a 45-second hyperlapse at 20 times speed showing you my installation process. This video that I shot for this was 15 minutes long, so it's not a speedy process to install the mattress cover, the 2-part system, the 3 straps, crank it all down. In comparison to other sleep systems we have used, it is much more involved. The 8 sleep system is much more involved, as you probably saw in that video. Regardless, the outcome is this. You get a really attractive cotton poly mattress topper that is quilted pattern-wise. It's very comfortable. It's got a little bit of padding to it as well. And within this topper are very small tubes that will circulate the water. The water is pumped in a closed system from this unit right here. This is the brains of the operation. This is the muscle. But right here you have a reservoir of water, and proper practice, I'll put a video below, is using hydrogen peroxide, a few ounces of that or tablespoons of that, with distilled water, of course, as they recommend for all of these devices, as well as humidifiers. The reason is it doesn't leave residue in the tubing, so it's as clean as possible and won't get gunk and buildup. It's not a health thing, it's just a cleanliness kind of thing. But this unit right here, you can see he's pretty big. Looks like a computer tower. It's attractive. It looks good for sure. But there's 2, I don't want to say downsides, but 2 things that are of note. One, there are no manual buttons. So with other devices we've used, you can still turn on power, turn up the temperature, or turn it down. And there's a little LED readout on most of the other devices to tell you the temperature and check the water, that kind of stuff. Just no readout on this. It's all via the app. And the app is very robust. I'll show you the app. So there's two ways to use the app. One is the free version, which is totally fine, controls all the units and everything. Option 2 is to pay a subscription fee of $15 a month, and that covers 2 people. I paid this happily because I want these metrics I'm about to show you here in a second. So the metrics, to me, is part of the reason why you would buy something like this. There are little sensors all throughout this sleeping pad, not just like in one area, it's like some other ones. It's throughout the whole pad, and it'll detect for both sides of the pad. Your partner, my wife, sets up her profile. I have my profile to turn on at certain times, certain temperatures, turn off at certain times, and then you can use the science, the AI in here, in the app, to measure your best practices. Like, when did you get better deep sleep? When did you get better REM sleep? And does adjusting the temperature in the app automatically help that? So they do a lot for you. So $15 a month, I think, is definitely worth it. To the app, let's check it out. So there is a screen right there. You see 97, scoring pretty good. And then you see in there the duration of sleep, 8.5, I think, on this one. That's a lot of sleep for me. I'm usually around 7.5. This was, I slept in. And I got 100% quality, and it was 86% of my routine. And then below that, you'll see the patterns, the REM sleep, the deep sleep, the light sleep, and then awake is the white part. And then we get to the part that I really nerd out about. We got REM sleep and the deep sleep measured right there. Then we have the heart rate, resting heart rate, I think of 58. Heart rate variability is adequate. And then respiration, how many times I'm breathing a minute, so 13.8. All those are pretty good. To be totally honest, I had probably 4 glasses of wine, and so my theory was I was going to sleep in, I was going to see if it affected my resting heart rate and heart rate variability, and it did. Not too bad, but just enough to know, and you probably know this, alcohol does affect your sleep. And it shows, like, you know, I got a pretty good night's sleep, regardless of like letting loose with my wife, but I can get my metrics lower. I can get my heart rate to 50 instead of 58, and heart rate variability, I'm usually twice that. So just to give you some context, that's why it's fun to have these metrics, and or important, because you can see, are things in your lifestyle influencing your sleep? Say taking a shower at night, did it positively or negatively influence it? Of course, we're going to brush our teeth, floss, and do all those things before night. But I found that if I go to sleep half an hour later than my old bedtime, I actually got better quality numbers of sleep. It was about the quality of sleep, not the quantity of sleep. And I was really relieved to hear that, because I wanted to stay up and do, you know, hang out with my dog Chloe, and that helped me justify staying up the extra half an hour. It wasn't like I stay up late. It's like 9:30 instead of 9 o'clock. Come on, I'm like an old person here, right? But it's fun to track these metrics and have it in real time, be able to talk to you and see what works. Speaking of metrics, this is a really fun one. I was up camping over at Blueberry Backcountry last weekend, doing some fundraising for local Avalanche Information Center here. Having a great time, but I was not here in bed. My dog Chloe, lovely dog, 70-pound rescue dog. My wife and I love her, and she sleeps in bed with us. We are a pack. We love it. She sleeps basically on me the duration of night, and I love it. I'm not complaining. But that night that I was out camping last weekend, she took over my whole side of the bed. And I was out of cell service. I didn't know what's going on until I got closer to Steamboat Springs here in Colorado, and I got cell service. I get an alert from the app that I just showed you. It said, "Hey, you all right? You might want to check in on yourself and see how you're doing. Your resting heart rate was quite a bit different than normal last night." So that was cool, but I was like, I wasn't home last night. So again, I got thinking, like, why would it track me if I'm camping? Turns out our dog Chloe was in my spot, and the sensors picked her up and reported it to the app. And I'll show you a screenshot below so you can see that. So I thought that was really entertaining and pretty funny that it tracked our dog Chloe. I don't know if it'll track a cat, but it tracked our dog Chloe. But you're probably also thinking now, like, oh, is the numbers going to be skewed if I sleep with my dog in bed? No, I don't think so. We measured this again. We had Chloe out of bed, and we slept in here, and the numbers were consistent with how it was with her in bed. Thank God, because I don't want to sleep outside of her. I want her to be with me, for sure. So that was pretty entertaining about tracking the dog. Okay, so I've gone on and on about the installation process. Took a bit of time. I would say if you did purchase this and you received it, UPS guy dropped it off and you're super excited to put it on tonight before going to bed, budget an hour and a half. About a half an hour to unbox and install the mattress, because you saw that 20-minute video compressed to 45 seconds. That's a lot of work, especially one person. And then an additional up to an hour to prime the unit, putting it in distilled water. It does like 3-4 applications of flushing the system and priming it so it's ready for you and yours to use when you choose to. So not open the box, put it on the bed, and you're good to go. So budget your time accordingly for that. Now let's get to the conclusions here. So we have used other sleep devices with the Chili Sleep. We have reviews on all the systems. We've had the founder on our podcast talking about sleep science. And of course, I'll do a comparison between the Chili Sleep, the Dock Pro, as well as the 8 Sleep Pod 3. But that's not this video. This video is about the Sleep 8 system, app, and our experience. Be totally honest, my wife and I are really, really impressed with this. It's just a clean setup. It's super secure. It doesn't move around. The unit looks good. There's only one unit as opposed to 2 units. So a benefit there is this one less thing to clean, one less thing to power, one less thing to take up space. Bummer, doesn't fit under the bed. Bummer, it doesn't have manual controls. But we've been using it for a month plus and it has not been an issue for us. The reservoir, I imagine I'll probably have to put more water in it probably in the next, I don't know, month or so, but so far it's going strong. Compared to the Chili systems, we usually put water in there about once a week, twice a week, so just frame of reference there. Price, it's $23.95 for the King setup right here. There's a Pod 2, just a little bit less, a few $100s less. There is also a full-on integrated mattress as well. We did not test that, we tested this. I think it's worth it. Sleep is essential, it's super important. If you're in the market for a sleep device, this is about as good as it gets. I have not found anything better than this. If you have experience with it, put in the comments below, share your experience with the Sleep 8 system. We're stoked on it. I don't think I'm gonna go back to the Chili Sleep system. I'm gonna use this and I love it. It's fantastic. I'm Sean Sewell, owner and director Stoked for Engearment.com. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, thumbs up's appreciated. Until next time, take care.